And he said, keep on watching. Keep on looking, because the crucifixion is about to take place for the last time. What was the minister telling us? That we cannot afford to fall asleep, because the enemy has already started the crucifixion. He has been doing it for 25 years with a very special man. His name is Louis Farrakhan, in case you didn't know who that special man was or is. And I want you to listen carefully, and I would want you to see who we have in our midst. He is the last, I would say, of the Mohicans. He's the last real warrior of all of the great warriors, leaders, teachers, scholars that we have birthed. And the enemy knows the value of Louis Farrakhan. And we know his value, but we may need a little help in seeing his true value and why he has been targeted for destruction and death. Those of us who have followed the minister since the last speech have heard him say things that we have never heard him say publicly before about himself in relationship to his father and teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is in this revelation that the death plot and conspiracy widens and thickens. Before Jesus ascended, he began to talk more and more about himself, which only added fuel to the fire of envy and jealousy that was in the hearts of those in his own community, and the envy and hatred that was in the hearts of those in authority. Jesus upset the Jewish so-called religious authorities and teachers, and his exposure of them as hypocritical men to the public caused them to devise a plan to get rid of him by bringing false charges against him and make a case against Jesus to the Romans. They charged him first with blasphemy, and then they came up with a charge of sedition. What did Jesus say? And what did Jesus do that so angered the Jewish authorities? The Bible tells us, according to the Gospels, that all of the chief priests and the elders and the teachers of the law, the whole Sanhedrin, reached a decision to put Jesus to death. Read it for yourself. It didn't say a few of them. It said all of the chief priests, all of the elders, all of the teachers of the law. They came to a decision that Jesus had to go. Look at this now. All the chief priests and all of the elders and the teachers of the law conspired together and were in agreement to put Jesus to death. But they feared the people. I want y'all to stay awake now. I know it's going to take you to think, because I didn't come to preach. I came to teach and to open your mind and eyes to what is happening and what is about to happen, for the shock of the hour is a grievous thing. Both books tell us about the shock of the hour. What makes it a grievous thing that every woman that is carrying a child will lay down her burden? What time period are we living in when you see earthquakes in diverse places, volcano ash coming up out of Iceland, shutting down airplanes and airports, storms ripping through the south of this country, killing people and destroying property? And they're waiting in California for the big one that they know since the last earthquake in Baja California in Mexico and the aftershocks that they felt in San Diego and Southern California, that they're overdue for a big one. Then in the state of California, you have what is called a supervolcano. Yes, supervolcano. One that can absolutely wipe out the whole state and the other states that border California and affect the entire atmosphere of the United States and beyond. We are living in troubled times, and the signs are clear to the wise that know that these are indeed the last days of the present world. We thank Allah for his coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and raising up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan to lead, to teach, to guide, and to give us an escape from the fall of America. So the chief priests, the elders, the teachers of the law, who conspired together and were in agreement to put Jesus to death, but they feared the people, so they had to come up with a wise plan to accomplish their objective. But death was the ultimate aim of their plan in the destruction of Jesus. They were unsatisfied with just putting Jesus in prison. They would not be satisfied with any other form of punishment. The man had to go. Now, this is deep. They were not satisfied with just destroying or attempting to destroy his reputation and character in the public. That was only a means to an end, Because if a man has the right idea for a suffering people, then the aim of the enemy, the plan of the enemy, is to destroy that idea in the hearts and minds of the people, so that no one will take the idea or continue the idea after the man is gone and make it a reality. So the enemy knows that if he can weaken and neutralize the idea in the people by making the people look indifferently at the man who introduces the idea, by diminishing first the admiration, the attraction, the love, and the respect that the people have for that man. How do they do it? They do it through false propaganda. Then the next and final step is the death of the leader. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote in his second edition of the Final Call newspaper. They can put that up on the screen, though I'm not there yet, but I want you to look at it. This was the second edition of the Final Call newspaper that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan published. The first had on the front cover the ultimate challenge, the survival of the black nation. And the second edition, if you can zoom it in, he has on a cross in the right corner, you see 3 faces. And over the 3 faces, the conspirators. You see a Caucasian man, a black man, and an Arab, representing that every one of these nationalities played a role in the destruction of the nation of Islam and the crucifixion of the image that's on that cross, Elijah Muhammad, which you probably can't see clearly from where you are. You say, well, why would you have that picture? In a few minutes, I'll put every black leader up for you, because you and I don't know how devious and wicked the enemy has been, and you wonder why in 2010 black folks are still raggedy, black folks are still homeless, black folks still begging for a job, black folks killing each other. It is because our leaders have been crucified and put to death, so that today we are more divided than we have ever been. We were more together on the slave plantations than we are on these modern plantations of the enemy. You still on a plantation. You just ain't picking cotton no more. But you're still picking something for the enemy and doing something for him other than doing something for yourself. All praise is due to Allah.